Joe Biden has suffered another polling nightmare after one found 3/4 of Americans said he would be too old to be re-elected for a second White House term in 2024. The poll from the Associated Press and Newark Center for Public Affairs of 1,165 adults found 77% of respondents, 89% of Republicans and 69% of Democrats, believe age would be an issue if the 80-year-old wins the presidential election. There was better news for Biden's arch-rival Donald Trump, with just over half, 51%, saying age would be a problem for the 77-year-old. Under a third, 29%, of Republicans were concerned. The same survey went beyond posing questions and presenting choices, as it also included a word association exercise, asking respondents to offer the first word or phrase that comes to mind at the mention of each presidential candidate. In the responses, just over a quarter, 26%, mentioned Biden's age and an additional 15% used words such as slow or confused. Among Democrat respondents, the 80-year-old's age was mentioned up front by 28%, but they were much kinder, preferring to use terms such as president, leader, strong or capable. Bernie Sanders, the Vermont senator who was a former candidate for the Democratic presidential nomination, was also asked about Biden's age during an interview with NBC on Sunday. The 81-year-old said, "When people look at a candidate, whether he's Joe Biden, or Trump, or Bernie Sanders, anybody else, they have to evaluate a whole lot of factors," before adding that when he met Biden recently, he seemed fine to me. He added, "But I think at the end of the day, what we have to ask ourselves is, what do people stand for? Do you believe that women have a right to control their own bodies? Well, the president has been strong on that." For Trump, on the other hand, just 3% of people taking part in the survey came up with confused as the first descriptor for the former president, while a mere 1% used old or something similar. The top words to describe the 77-year-old included corrupt or crooked, 15%. Other generally negative terms, 11%, were expressed, including words such as liar and dishonest, 8%, along with good and other generally positive comments, also 8%. Earlier today, it was announced his trial on charges of plotting to overturn the 2020 presidential election result has been scheduled for March 4, 2024. It means the trial could begin almost 8 months to the day before the presidential election in November of that year, and is also one day before Super Tuesday, when many U.S. states nominate their Republican or Democratic candidate. Trump skipped the first Republican debate in Milwaukee last week, and New Emerson College polling has shown the former president's lead over his Republican rivals has slipped. The poll of 1,000 people on August 25 to 26 showed him with 50% support among Republican primary voters, a 6-point drop from a pre-debate poll. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who has been trailing a long way behind Trump in most polls, was second with a 2-point jump to 12%. Investor Vivek Ramaswamy dropped 1 point to 9%, while Nikki Haley, the former South Carolina governor and United Nations ambassador, gained 5 points to stand at 7%. Spencer Kimball, executive director of Emerson College Polling, highlighted an apparent softening of support for Trump since last week's survey, where 82% of Trump voters said they would definitely support him, compared to 71% after the debate. But on that score for DeSantis, his support softened from 32% who would definitely support to 25%.